Hi, I thought I would share a bookshelf tour with you today. See how this goes. This is my first narrative YouTube video. We're looking at the top of my hardcover comic shelf where I keep mostly my newspaper comic strips. And what you've been looking at for a while are from the Library of American Comics Essentials editions from IDW. We have Baron Bean from 1916 and 1917. The Gumps from 1929, The Bungle Family from 1930, Little Orphan Annie from 1929 to 1931, Polly and Her Pals from 1933, Little Orphan Annie from 1933 to 1935, and Terry and the Pirates from 1934 to 1936. Now, I've read all of Baron Bean from 1916, and it's great. George Harriman, same cartoonist who did Crazy Cat. That was a Christmas present. I ordered the second volume, and I have yet to crack it open. It's been sitting there for a while. I'm looking forward to reading it at some point. The Gumps was also a Christmas gift, and it's an all-right comic. We'll get into Gasoline Alley, which I have a collection of later, which is much more fun than the Gumps, but interestingly enough, not as popular at the time that this came out. The Bungle Family, I have read some of it. It's okay. The art is not great. I may do a video later where I open up some of these books and show you the inside of them, but we're just going to look at spines today. Little Orphan Annie, really fun. Have not finished it. I bought this book while I was on a date at a bookstore, and I got it because it's the Depression years. I haven't read the whole thing, but what I have read of it I really like. Polly and Her Pals, have not gotten into it. Flipped through it a little bit, haven't read it. The second Little Orphan Annie volume that I have, bought it in Victoria a couple months ago for super cheap. I'm happy I've got it, looking forward to getting into it at some point, but as yet have not cracked it. So here's Terry and the Pirates. Terry and the Pirates is a fantastic comic strip. If you've never read it before, you should. It's really, really good. I have the first two volumes. I bought them at a great bookstore that used to be on Capitol Hill called Spine and Crown. And it didn't get good until volume 3 starts. So these kind of sit here. I haven't read what's in these. I've read what's in all of the volumes I don't own. Just not this one. Alley-Oop, 1939 by V.T. Hamilton. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this comic. This guy, Alley-Oop, he's a caveman, travels to the future, and then travels back to the past, to the time of the Iliad by Homer. And he's kind of a prototypical Wolverine, except he has like a club instead of claws. Very fun comic. If you can find it, check it out. First volume of Steve Canyon, and the book next to it also. Cartoon Monarch, The Little King. I saw these at a half-price books. I had just paid my credit card off, but I immediately used my credit card again to buy these two books. Gone through The Little King several times, and probably about a quarter of the way through the Steve Canyon. It's okay. As you can see from the spine, it's by the same guy that did Terry and the Pirates, and it was a huge deal when it came out. Have not been able to get into it yet. Here's the first Gasoline Alley book, 1964 to 1966. Gasoline Alley gets a bad rap these days. I always thought it was a joke until I bought the first book of a different series. These are everything we've looked at right now came out through IDW, but Drawn and Quarterly is doing a really fantastic Gasoline Alley series, and those are just amazing. So I bought this because of how much I enjoyed those, and I read the whole thing pretty much in one sitting. It's awesome. Cannot recommend it enough. And much to the chagrin of Tony Millionaire, who will never see this, the Bloom County Library, first 4 volumes. I'm pretty sure I bought all of these under my own steam, except one that was a gift from my Uncle Mark for Christmas one year. I have read them all. They're all fantastic. Really enjoy them. I was born in 1982. So it's kind of a comic strip that I grew up with. I used to get my mom Bloom County and Outland cards every year for her birthday when I could find them. Kind of hard to find now. And my only Sunday Press edition of anything, Walton Skeezix, which is done by, all the editorial stuff is done by the same people that did the drawn and quarterly editions of these books, Chris Ware and Jeet Heer. They are awesome. Like I said, this one is so huge. I didn't realize when I ordered it that it was Sunday Press for some reason. So what's in here are the original size of Gasoline Alley strips that appeared in papers. And boy, are they big. Like I said, I may do a video in the future where I actually open it up and show you the inside of some of these books. Okay, now we've jumped from Sunday Press to Fantagraphics. 4 collections out of the 6 of EC Cigar's Popeye comics, which I've read most of the first volume and really like it. I intend to read the rest of these. They're printed wonky, wherein there are way too many strips just stacked one upon the top of the other on a page, and I don't love it. I've shown this book to people, and they've dismissed it completely just because of the way that it was printed. But the spines look cool. I have volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4, so there should be an E between this P and the Y here. But I still think it looks pretty neat over here. I'm going to move my keys and wallet out of the way. Captain Easy by Roy Crane. Have I read it? No, I haven't. Looks awesome. Plan to get into it at some point. Just hasn't happened yet. Also published by Fantagraphics. I live in Seattle. Fantagraphics is based out of here. It's cool to support local businesses. Here is my Prince Valiant collection. I have volumes 1 through 8. The 8th volume is a little bit scuffed because I bought that at a remainder at the University of Washington bookstore. Most of these I bought under my own steam. A couple of them were Christmas presents after I started collecting it. And I didn't plan to collect Prince Valiant past 1950. I just got the last volume because it has a really cool Norse gods cover. Due to the precariousness of this part of the shelf, I'm not going to pull it out right now. If people like this, I may do book examination videos, but not tonight. I have read probably the first 5 or 6 volumes of this and really enjoyed it. Again, another comic strip that gets kind of a bad rap because it has text instead of word balloons. And the art sucks on it now. Another one that I didn't realize was going to be as big as it was, Mr. Tweedledee. I mentioned Tony Millionaire, cartoonist I really like. He is a huge fan of the guy that did Mr. Tweedledee, who is, I actually have to walk up next to it. Well, Rick Marshall was the designer of the book, but it's by Johnny Gruelle, who created Raggedy Ann and Andy. And it's some great artwork. It's not Little Nemo and Slumberland, which we'll get into later, but it's interesting. It's fantasy stuff. He has his fans. I can understand why he has his fans. I'm happy I got this book. This is a book that was solicited forever. And yeah, Tony Millionaire, like I mentioned, was supposed to have been the designer of the book. And we didn't get that. We got Rick Marshall instead. But he's a legit dude also. His name is on a lot of these collections. I wish I knew more about the guy that I could speak to all the stuff that he's done. Unfortunately,